make financial record keeping a must, have routine audits. The lender is always a good business person. You go and then give your pitch about how good your business is going. They will tell you all that they're selling because they're getting commission. It sent London downhill because all the brokers were interested in the commission they were getting, but the people were not able to pay back. That's why we went into the economic crisis some years back in the United Kingdom. So for them, they'll shake hands with you, but be careful. Your image in liquidation affects your credit worthiness for the next opportunity that's ahead of you. So make sure you don't put yourself in unnecessary debts. Pay what is due, and you have a good night's sleep. You know you by all means pay. When you set up your business, I hope you have been taken through how to have a business with peace of mind. So get your TIN number, you pay what you have to pay, and you're okay. Don't eat your seed before it grows. Here is where I want us to come together and share some ideas. I'm looking for 2 volunteers. I'm going to choose them myself, and I hope they don't get embarrassed. Yes, madam. I want you to just get up and tell the whole room what your financial objective is for year 2015. Just in one sentence, if you can.
I stated that for my business, in the year 2015, would want to be profitable by the middle of the year.
Did you find anything wrong with that statement? Can I get a response? Yeah. Okay.
Of course, she says they want to be profitable, but she's not being specific. No numbers.
Thank you. Any more? Somebody's showing that they've had a good training yesterday and the day before. Any more? Say, apply SMART. Be specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, and time-bound or timely. Apply SMART in everything you do about your business. That acronym called SMART. Apply it. It will help you a lot. So we didn't hear of figures. You can approximate the figures. Okay, and put something in percentage if you like. Can I get yours, please? You want to give us yours? Or he wants to criticize. There's more criticism coming.
When you set goals, you have to give yourself a time. She never mentioned it. I did 2015. 2015 is very
He says it's a middle. Middle means middle. Okay, June. So let the gentleman who wasn't so much in the room give us his objective.
So by 2015 September, I'm thinking of
No, we couldn't hear you. I think the mic is a bit loud.
I'm thinking of 100,000 profits. September 2015.
Okay, can I get a critique, a business critique? Yes. Oh, I've got one at the front. Oh, is it the same man? Okay, help us.
That's a good one, but I still think it's not smart. Because thinking doesn't give a picture of attainability.
Did you hear that? And for me, that's very important. Okay, when I had to go as far as reading business psychology, that's when I understood what makes a millionaire. Okay, understood what makes a millionaire. They speak differently, they act differently. So your colleague over there is saying to you, next time, don't say I think, say I want. Because that gives you much bigger or weightier strength behind your actions because you want it. You think it's like wishy-washy. Anything else? Have we observed anything in his objective? Before I moved on, did we observe anything? Thank you.
Maybe this critique might be a little off, but I don't see how realistic, one, the amount he wants to make by 2015 is, and two, he's saying it in dollars, whereas in this country we're supposed to be doing everything in cities.
Okay. Some of us, we watch the TV and so we see all the arrest adverts saying, let's do our business in our currency, and we're still quoting the dollars. Hello? Yes.
I disagree with the young lady sitting over there because if the gentleman over there is doing cashew business and then his target market is Europe or the United States, so definitely his target is right, maybe $100,000.
Yes.
So that when it comes to the country, he can mount it for enough money.
I like the way my room is going. Hello? Yes. So we can, you see, again, when we think big, we can trade outside our territories. And some people are sitting here and they're looking at the stocks in the United States because they bought stocks over there and they look at how it goes. But they're in Ghana here. They haven't even bought a plane ticket before. I was so surprised when I met that man. He said a friend came from United States and introduced that particular shares to him, and he's been trading for the past 16 years. And he has sent all his children to school over there from that activity. I said, wow. Okay, so think big. What he said is right. Depending on where you are trading. But then there's something else I want somebody to help me with about what he said. Because did he measure it?
I don't think he measured it. It would have been measurable if we know how much he's making at the moment. So we could have a percentage increase or decrease.
Thank you. All right. So again, that figure, sometimes we make mistakes with that when we even go to the banks. Because we want to show that our business is doing well, we just tell them, but we don't measure it against anything. Okay, what's the benchmark? Okay, so I'm just flipping this so that you just have a look, because it's going to take time, because we spend all the time. Okay, so I'm showing a little bit. The financiers want Campari. They don't want gin. They want Campari. Okay, so financiers or investors, your lenders, all they're looking for is Campari. They want character, they want ability, whether the business you are handling, you have the know-how, or your managers are trained enough to handle the business on your behalf, you have to demonstrate that.
Yeah, what I was saying was that how the projections you make sometimes will not be based on the benchmarking, sometimes will not be based on what you are making now, but it also depends on how rapidly your business is growing. For instance, this year maybe I made a total sales of about $25,000. But within the period of say 7 months, I've had several distributors of my products who are ordering, and I'm entering new markets, expanding the production within that, which means I'm going to make about $123,000 in that year. So It depends on how rapidly your business is growing. That makes it more realistic or not, but not really how much. So like somebody would just look at your figures. Last year you had maybe $10,000. And then for the following year, he's looking at, you are thinking of making about 100,000. He thinks it's abnormal. But I think we should also look at the circumstances surrounding why the person is thinking he's going to make that money.
Okay. What you're saying, I can feel you, my kind gentleman. But what happens in the real world, okay, is the study, we have criteria, what a startup is, what a pre-start is, what a micro is, and what a macro is. And so when they know how young you are, unfortunately, if you start a business just this year, trading in one particular activity, and then you're not doing so well, you have no relationship with them. That is why the banks that do not have business managers, I have something wrong with them. Because if you have a bank and you have a business manager in that bank, you have a relationship with your bank, because they know, they're hand-holding you somewhere along the process. And so they know all that you are doing. So when you are earning 10,000, you are making a turnover of 10,000 this year, and by the end of the year, you've gone about 100,000, like you're saying, they are part of what you're doing. They understand where you're going. But in the real world, if they are not part of what you're doing, and you just come, this is a pre-start, then who is now all of a sudden deciding to diversify? And then quickly making so much. That is why it's good to do what? To have a relationship with your financiers. Because these days and now, some people are even thinking 419 and all that, you know, from somewhere along this world. Again, I'm saying that know your priorities when you are budgeting. Know your priorities. Know which is urgent, which is not. Okay? Monitor your current financial performance. I know this lady that I said I helped with 50 CDs, she told me every half hour she'll pour all her intake and count. And that motivates her to either put the pan on her head and go around or keep sitting down. I mean, clap for this lady for me. She's an illiterate, but she's using what? Her sense, her business sense. Every 30 minutes, she counts her intake. So you have to check, you have to watch, you have to observe, keep an eye on, supervise, examine. And don't think I'm very, very English language literate. You just right-click and you get the synonyms, okay? When a word is so difficult for you to understand, just right-click and click on the synonyms, and that will help you, okay? Don't let anything bully you. It requires discipline. The routine, I've already mentioned that. How do you manage, how do you control your financial activities in your business? Tell us where you want to go and who you are. When you have applied this kind of discipline, you have self-respect. You go to the bank and the bank manager himself wants to see you and shake hands with you. You have sense of achievement, you have admiration from others, you have opportunities to excel, prosperity, and then approval. Are you setting the good examples to your lenders, to your clients, to the public, the bank, and your family? They have their expectations of you. The challenge is setting the standards. It's always been difficult. So this woman, she knows. I spoke to her, she says, I'm expecting that by the end of the week, I've made 100 CDs. So she has expectations. She has set up standards. Do you have your own financial mission statement? How often do you revise it? Sometimes it's good to even have a financial vision. That's what made me invest in Excel. I was paying $3,500. Anytime I think about it, I said, girl, weren't you crazy? Yes, I was. But then if I told you what I got out of it, it will surprise you. I flew to Scottsdale, and this is a place where you see the most beautiful, I mean, you live a life where rich people live, okay? And that tells you that where you are, the standard you set for yourself is just too. Hello? Let us all say that, and let's move on to the real thing.
Dear past, thank you for all the lessons. Dear future, I'm now ready.
God bless you for listening to my icebreaker. Now I'm going to take you to why it's important to keep financial records. Wait a minute, if you don't understand anything, ask me. We've now come to the real thing, okay? Can somebody tell me in their own words why we control finances in the business? Why is it necessary at all? Yes, sir.
Okay, so basically, you can track how much you are investing into your business and how much you are getting out of it. Yeah.
Okay, so we heard it this time, all right? You can track how much you are investing and how much you are making out of it. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please speak.
It enables you to know your company's worth at a glance.
Are you done? Yes. Thank you, sir. Any more contributions? Yes, sir. Yes, please. Yes.
It helps you to keep track of the fact that whether you're running out of money or you have money.
It tells you whether you have money or you don't have money. It's my sister's contribution. Can you help us?
Yes. It helps you to get access from your banks. But with good financial planning, if you go to your banks, because they know you are liquid, at any point in time you can pay them, they are ready to offer you credit.
Did you hear him from the back? No. Can you please raise your voice? Yes, somebody said it enables you to monitor, control, and evaluate. How? I like that English, but how?
So, I mean, when monitoring means observing.
Yes.
Okay. Because you're putting it down, every time you can look at it. You can go back.
Okay, let me give you a scenario.
Controlling.
A carpenter, imagine you're a carpenter, okay? You've opened your carpentry shop just the past 6 months. You spent money for the premises. Hello? You've got 2 apprentices that you're giving allowance. I know that Ghana, sometimes you be careful that they don't give allowance to the apprentices, do they? But let's think about it. I gave somebody this idea and it's working for him. He's giving them travel and food and saying to them, when your time is due, you work 1 more year for the food allowance I'm giving you. But if you want transport, you do 2 years. And it's working big time. I gave him the idea, it's working. Because if somebody hasn't got any money in their pocket, they can't even get out of the house. And what about if they are hungry? So this carpenter now has got more than he wants. Now, from what he's saying, monitor, evaluate, and then what? Which was the third blade?
Monitor, control.
Control, that's right. So let's take this case study. You are a carpenter, you just opened your new carpentry shop, right? You bought all your things, you got your first 2 customers. What are you monitoring there? And what are you evaluating there, sir? And what are you controlling? Imagine you're a carpenter, because I want you to break your expression deeper down for our understanding.
So, a carpenter, what inputs or what tools, how much did you buy your tools? You need to know that. how many customers are coming to you every day, every week. You should know. What furniture? How many furniture? If it's furniture, how many furnitures are you doing? How much is it? How much is going into it? The money they give to you, you need to know what goes into the making of the furniture.
Thank you. Can somebody?
How much becomes your profit? So
thank you very much. That is like if all things were. Can somebody go deeper than this to explain why you monitor, control, and evaluate? Can somebody give me something deeper than this? Yes, sir.
This carpenter would have to use some raw material. That's the wood. He should know how much he's paying for it. He might be having some tools, electrical tools. He knows how much he's paying for his electricity, and he's giving food to the apprentices. He should know the value of it, and that will help him to price his tables, his beds, and things he's making.
Good. You've added to it. So basically, you have to do the overheads and all that. This is how we're calculating our profits and all that. But I want to see again to monitor and evaluate. Yes, are you going to say something?
No, my point. When you finish.
Are you sure? Say it, because I'm going to move to the next one.
Okay.
I think we shouldn't forget that financial planning helps your business to continue. Financial planning sustains, provides sustainability. As the saying goes, failing to plan is managing to fail. So if you are not able to have good financial planning in place, you will not be able to ensure it.
I'm getting more blame in the room.
You will not be able to project your company to that foreseeable future.
Thank you. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail. I'm getting more expressions in the yes, sir.
Well, for me, I think the importance is the fact that when you don't record what you are spending and getting out, you end up actually spending on things you don't need. And the next year, you find yourself in big trouble because...
What about our customers? See, look on the board. It says combining your resources with your objectives correctly. You have a customer that comes to you that doesn't mind the smell of turpentine in mixing with that paint and painting their room, because that's how much they can afford. But you also know that there's another customer who can pay, so you're going to use a thinner, which costs about 60 per gallon, compared to the turpentine, which is just about 20 or 15 per gallon. And what we're saying is that know your market, know the objectives you set, look at the resources you have, and how much you turn that resources over in avoiding the waste by making much more returns on what you have put in. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Like record keeping also get you to keep in touch with suppliers and the customers. I agree that you are in the manufacturing industry, and then there are people who supply you raw materials and then the equipment and everything. So if you don't keep record of them, a time will come out to get them will be a problem. Because I have an experience. We're having a supplier.
Tell me about experience.
Yeah, we're having a supermarket where we're having suppliers to come to distribute the product to us. So one day our computer got the Windows damaged and want to reinstall new Windows. But me, I didn't have any source that would get the information. So how to get back to those customers was a problem. And after now, we don't have them now.
Thank you. So again, keeping customers' records. We're going to hit that very soon. Suppliers' records. I mean, let's look at my hairdresser, for example. This lady, hey, I've introduced 2 more friends. And praise be to God, we don't give you the 3 CDO. And so what should you do? If you call me and say, Madam, I've been seeing you for a while. Come and I wash your hair and I give you a treat. You just say it. It's a way to lure your customer in. But this one doesn't keep records at all. And no matter how much I say it, she doesn't want to know. So she's lost me. Hello? She doesn't keep records. There's a reason why you have to keep customer data. You know when they need what. So you supply before they even think. You help them plan their life. You don't wait for them to come to you. You go to them. Ghana is a place of ourselves. We're always waiting for the customer to come to us. And we want their money, don't we? Okay, so we're going to look at a good record-keeping system, assembling or adding up records after certain periods to help understand or communicate, and then reflection on records, and then budgeting. So we're looking at records that add value to business growth. We've heard a lot about why we do records keeping. So it's a basic thing. I'm giving you a basic definition of it. Record keeping is writing down and keeping of important activities about your business for future reasons or reference. You are writing down for a reason, so that the taxman comes, so that if you have to order, you know how to add the inflation. If I bought from the supplier with this amount this year, next year if I add this percentage of inflation, I know how to budget for my raw material. So you keep these things for a reason, or so that you can make reference to them. Okay, so this includes all the monies that come to your business, the monies that go out, any other activities that's relevant to the business, example, records of those who owe you and those who you owe, your stock and your clients. Okay, so you know your debtors and your creditors. Why is record keeping so important? It allows us to keep track and measure the progress and performance of your business accurately. I want to stop here and ask somebody what has happened to his or her business when, I want one volunteer, when he didn't do record keeping, and another volunteer when he did record keeping, he or she did record keeping. Yes.
From your experience, why do you think Ghanaians don't like keeping records? Ghanaian business.
Okay. So
I had a client where actually I recommended to this client to keep records. I can write a small computer program to keep customer simple data. They didn't do it. And the customer came in. Every time this customer comes in, they ask for the address information. And one time, she really got angry. She said, why do you have to ask me for this basic information every time? Exactly. Every time I come in, you have to ask me for this info. And you are involved in business. You're supposed to have this information.
Don't let me go there, sir.
So based on yours, why is it so
I'm going to answer you that later on. Yes, thank you for that question. I'm going to get back to you later on. But I'm looking for that volunteer, right, who, when he didn't do financial record keeping, what happened to the business? And then when he did, yeah, record keeping, doesn't have to be financial, just business record keeping. Give us your experience.
It's a short experience. I published a book titled The Secrets of Sexual Healing, and I was distributing it to some of my bookshops and stuff. And there are some places that I forgot to. I thought I could keep everything in my mind, but I forgot to write the quantities. And as I speak to you now, I don't really know how many quantities I gave to this particular person or that. So I think it's a terrible thing that we shouldn't do.
Thank you. Can I have somebody who did it right and the results, please?
I didn't do it right.
Yes, still share your experience, please.
I started my business in 2006, and it was an ad hoc business. And then my mother kept asking me, oh, are you making any profit? Are you making any profit? And I was like, yeah, we're just breaking even. The one that I decided to actually sit down and do the costing and everything that else goes around production. And I found out I was actually producing at a loss, and I was selling to people way too cheap.
That's
and
right.
That helped me to actually sit down and start costing each production.
Yes, sir. Somebody at the back. I like that. Thank you so much, because sometimes I say to people, if you don't keep business records, especially financial records, you will not even know that you are wasting your time.
When we started, we were not keeping very accurate records. So one day we were there, IRS came and said, you're supposed to pay 2,000 Ghana cedi. And we're like, oh, this year We haven't done anything. We can't pay. So we had the records. So as we didn't have anything. So we're forced to pay that amount of money.
Exactly. All right? So the law, you'll be in the wrong arm of the law if you don't keep records. And sometimes we think that even falsifying the records is good for us. Believe you me. Try doing the right thing all the time. And your truth can justify your means to the end where you want to go. Yes, sir?
One thing I realize is in Ghana, we like to take people for their words too much.
Yes.
And in this environment we operate, we don't expect people like to pay cash down. So often we end up having enemies instead of good business practices. Somebody says, okay, today I give you 10,000 Ghana cedis, I bring 2,000 in 2 weeks. You don't write it down, you take his word, and that's the beginning of a big fight to come.
Okay, I'll cite an example, then I'll answer your question, sir. Where a carpenter, this is a very recent case, all right, took my money to do some work for me. The deadline he gave me, he couldn't meet it. I went to him and I said to him, this is the second time you've given me another date. So can I trust you that this time you're going to keep it? Now he gets offended. Why I've said that? Why I've used the word, can I trust you? So the gentleman started bullying me. I recorded every conversation because I have somebody who say, hey, my lady, if somebody's bullying you, just let me know. So I called him and I said, I've got it on tape. He said, good. He came, picked my phone, went there, and the gentleman called me with an apology and said to me that when he says Monday, it is Monday. Hello? Bye. We don't, like he's saying, we don't write things down. But if I had had something, you may say that with the carpenter, they are illiterate and what have you. But if they can write receipts, then contrast to that receipt taken for this day, collection this day. I mean, I've been to a place where the Caucasian will ask somebody to even write his name for him at the post office. But he knows what to put there. So I don't want illiteracy as an excuse. So collection, the order date, collection date. Balance due. Yeah. So I agree with what you're saying. Now, my gentleman here was asking me, how come? Can you repeat your question again? So everybody.
Based on your experience, why is
based on my experience,
right.
Why do I think?
Why do you think Ghanaians in particular don't like keeping records?
Why do I think Ghanaians?
Even if it's at the detriment of their business, if they're going to lose.
Okay, we are correcting that statement. Why do I think some Ghanaians?
Some, not all. Usually, from my encounters, the majority.
The
majority. So, and my problem and my frustration has been I haven't found a way to convince them to change their ways.
Okay. So my experience can be very limited, but I will cite one that we all see on day to day. Okay. Normally, when I come from Europe or wherever, I will spend about 2 weeks and rush back. So I never had time to really look around me. And this time I've been 2 years, and I'm looking around, and I'm looking at, you know what the ladies used to grill the plantain? Hello? Hi. And it's the same shamasi which my great-great-grandmother was using to roast the plantain by the roadside. It was the same thing. They haven't changed. And I saw the woman carry the thing on her head with smoke. And I said, Madam, I said, she turned with that attitude on her face to tell me that, hey, I know what I'm doing. I saw the smoke and I think that was a vapor. Or didn't she only go when she poured the water on the thing in the basin? You know this white basin that they used to that's what we're still using. Hello? But then you want to ask the psychology behind that. You see, before you can effect a change, you have to know the underlying factors. Sometimes people are afraid to change for some reasons. Everybody's afraid of the unknown. But then when you cite examples and you help them gradually in the process, for me, I always believe that is the approach we use. So I said, okay, look at the bars. Okay, the bars where they grill this barbecue thing. They use this thing with their cover. So how come the ladies who can't use the same thing? You know, and roast their plantain nicely, put an apron on, put their things nicely. Because plantain is one of the things that tourists like enjoying so much, this roasted plantain. But the way we handle it, we are losing our tourist money. So this is me. Let me finish on that for a minute. I assumed. No, I just want to drop here. I assumed. No, let me just finish. I assumed that I could quick fix the problem. But by the time I got to the end of it, I realized that it wasn't as easy as I thought. Okay? So the point I'm trying to make here is that when people become so used to a particular system, it doesn't take overnight to change fixed mindset, to change convenience, to change fear of the unknown. It takes quite some time. It takes who is going to dare to lose money in the process. It's risk-taking to change a process. It's risk. That's why I always say if you're not a risk-taker, you can't be a good business person. So please,
the problem is,
answer me, sir.
We don't want to reinvest in our businesses.
Right.
This woman we are talking about, it can
no, no woman, the whole of...
No, yeah,
please.
I'm just giving you an example of that woman carrying there. He can buy a lot of morning clothes, expensive ones, but he prefers to put his money there in the expensive clothing rather than to reinvest in the business.
Okay. So I started an example which was common because we all see it in our eyes every day when we wake up and want to buy. Yes. Is it on the same thing? Because time. Yes, madam.
There's a woman who sells wache at Labone. She sold wache from the same spot, the same way, for years now. No, not Katao DSO. Auntie Mumuni. She has managed to put all her children through university doing that. And recently I asked, why is this woman still doing this the same way? And somebody told me that if she changes slightly, all her regular customers will leave because there's a way in which she serves her food that makes them comfortable.
That's right.
So there are certain things we are not ready to change for those reasons.
Right. So that's why I said we can't just assume. That's why I said that example. There are so many underlying factors why people or businesses remain the way they are for a period of time, and that's what you have to investigate. So we are now looking at other reasons. We've said keeping track a lot. Does it also allow you to kite theft? Yes. Okay. So we have looked at that for quite a while, so I don't want to repeat that. Okay. It helps you to know what you have in stock, what you need to buy more of. Again, we have discussed that. So assembling which records? Everybody got their own financial year or their periods that they set in the year to tally, to report, to put things together and examine. So what do we put together? What evidence do we need? We call them source documents. So I went to these hairdressers and they were not issuing receipts. Yes, sir.
I'd like to ask, with the record keeping, is there any standard that you need to follow?
Somebody is asking, is there any fixed standard that everybody is going to use? Yes, with finance, when it comes to accounting, my colleague is going to take you through that very soon. You realize that, for example, petty cash is petty cash. Income and expenditure will always be income and expenditure. Receipting will always be receipting. Invoicing will always be invoicing. Can somebody tell me what a pro forma is? Yes, sir.
It's an invoice given to you based on which you make a payment.
Right.
To your suppliers. It's normally given to you by your supplier, or you give it to your customer.
Are you a businessman?